She says she takes her own safety seriously, but, you know, the amount of broken bones that she's accumulated in her career would tend to tell a different story.
So to the sport and Vassos, and according to the American skier Linsey Vonn, it's perfectly possible to ski down a mountain at more than 80 miles an hour if you're not perfectly fit. I can't believe she's doing this. She's 41. She's the American skier. She's going to be racing this Sunday, 9 days after she had a crash which ruptured her ACL and she had to be airlifted to hospital. Why?
I mean, she is extraordinary. Linsey Vonn is just one of those people that if you meet, I've never met Linsey Vonn personally, but she'd be one of those people that I would be slightly in awe of. She has a habit of skiing down a mountain in the manner of a wardrobe falling off a cliff. She doesn't really she says she takes her own safety seriously, but, you know, the amount of broken bones that she's accumulated in her career would tend to tell a different story. Okay. I had a look about how long a Premier League footballer would take if they had ruptured an ACL. Yep. How long until they're back on a Premier League football pitch? About 9 to 12 months is the answer. Not 9 to 12 days, Linsey Vonn. By the way, this is her third torn ACL of her career. She's also torn an MCL, 4 tibial plateau fractures, whatever they are. In Andorra, she basically smashed up multiple fractures of her left knee. She did that 8 months later again, multiple fractures of that knee. She retired in 2019 with some nerve damage, and then 5 years later she'd had a knee replacement and thought, you know what, let's go again. And she's leading the World Cup standings in downhill coming into these Winter Olympics.
So she's in form.
She's absolutely in form. She's one of the all-time great skiers. She's 41 years of age now. I mean, golf fans know her because she had a very high-profile 3-year relationship with Tiger Woods just after his marriage split up. I mean, she's her, as they say in America. She's her in American sport. And without this torn ACL, all attention would be on Linsey Vonn returning to the Olympic Games age 41. But just the fact that she did it, she was airlifted to hospital with a torn ACL, and she's already been thinking about, practicing on the downhill course ahead of Sunday's race. Amazing.
Right. I mean, it is phenomenal.
It is, but does there ever come a time when anybody intervenes and says, actually, you shouldn't do that in the name of sport?
I mean, I asked Sir Tony McCoy the same question because he broke, I think, every bone in his body at some stage falling off horses before he retired, and he said it goes with the job. But I mean, it's a pretty heavy price to pay, isn't it?
I was going to say, I wonder whether the true price is paid perhaps in your 60s and 70s, where your body is just aching and who knows? And I don't wish that on Linsey or anybody else who's I love sport, but people who take part in it professionally often end up paying quite the price, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And this is just broken bones, and broken bones heal. There's also, big discussions in sport at the moment about concussions.
Yes, heading the ball.
And heading the ball, rugby concussions, and and the long-term effects of that. So it's very much, sport's great, like you say, but ...
Yeah, okay. Now, Britain, I've been talking about this. Team GB are expected to do better than usual. In fact, possibly putting in their best ever performance, aiming for what? 7 or 8 medals, we're told.
Yes, so this is UK Sport who dish out the money to Olympic athletes, and then they set how many medals they'd like from each games. And it's not a hard and fast rule, but they say, look, this is we have certain number of kind of podium people that we would expect to get some medals, and a certain number of finals and that. And so they've said 7 or 8, which would be great for Team GB. Curling, we're very good at curling. In fact, we start curling today. The opening ceremony is on Friday in Milan, but today is officially day -2, which is the day that the action actually gets underway with Team GB's curlers in mixed doubles action against Norway at 6:05 our time.
Right, well, I'm already excited. But we need news desperately of the Spanish figure skater who wants to perform to music and sounds from the Minions movie. Now, he's been allowed to use the backing track after first being blocked by copyright rules. So here's a quick reminder. Well, to be honest, that was enough. You better be a great dancer, because that's awful. Sorry, it's terrible music. What's the story here?
Look, have a look at him. Here he is. He's called Gariano Sabate. He skates in a Minions costume, like sort of jeans and dungarees and a yellow T-shirt.
But he hasn't got the big glasses.
He doesn't have the big glasses. He doesn't. I speak as somebody who has run 3 London marathons dressed as a Minion, so I do know. I know. Oh, do you know why?
Why?
Because it creates an awful lot of joy on the sidelines. You know, the kids looking everywhere from Greenwich to the Mall going, look, Mummy, Daddy, a Minion, a Minion. And if they then get high-fived by said Minion, which they all do, by the way, then it just makes the day pass quicker, and actually the miles for me pass quicker. And, you know, he obviously likes the movies, this guy, and he's been skating to this all through, you know, on the circuit all year. And then suddenly he gets told, oh, no, you can't do that, which would have been a massive problem for him. But Universal Studios. So this, by the way, you know, we've got 2.5 weeks of the Winter Olympics.
Yeah,
this is an absolute, this is a cast iron Winter Olympic story. Spanish figure skater in Minions.
You're right. It's
movie.
the boxes are ticked here.
Yes,
they really are.
I was thinking about back to Winter Olympics stories. It started, of course, with the Jamaican bobsleigh team and Eddie the Eagle. But you remember there was a speed skater, an Aussie speed skater called Stephen Bradbury, who was last in his race and only reached the final. He was in the semi-finals and only reached the final because everyone else fell on the final corner. So suddenly he's through to the final, and then in the final he's miles last, and everyone else fell on the final corner. So he rather sheepishly won a gold medal.
Wow.
This is the sort of thing that happens at the Winter Olympics.
These are great stories. And actually, I think at the last Winter Games, which we established earlier, were in Beijing. Britain was expected to do better and sort of narrowly missed in a number of sports. So yes. Maybe our luck's in this time.
Yes, so Bruce Mowat, who's the mixed doubles curler who's in action today with Jen Dodds, he was one of those people who they were nailed on to do a medal, and then they just got to them in the semi-finals and then just missed out. And there was a lot of that sort of stuff going on for Team GB 4 years ago. So here's hoping.
Well, it won't happen. What about Matt Weston in the men's skeleton? He's a dead cert, isn't he? Apparently he is, I read.
Yes. Well, here's the thing. You know that the luge and the bobsleigh, right? The skeleton is on a tray, but head first down the mountain. And we are, since Amy Williams, we are really good at that.
Who'd have thought it? The British people were good at going head first down a very slippery slope on a tray
at 85 miles an hour on the ice.
That is terrifying. That is terrifying. I was watching a report about the men's bobsleigh team, and they said it's very, very rare that they ever actually practice on a proper bobsleigh run. When they're doing training in this country, there's just no snow, there's no ice, there's no nothing.
No, they practice in Bath.
Yeah, which also, I suppose it is a bit hilly, isn't it? It's not very hilly though.
It's that first few seconds where they all run and push the bobsleigh and then practice getting in. That is absolutely crucial. It's only the driver really who needs to practice on the run itself, and they do the visualization and you know, corner 1, corner 2, and all of this, and they've got it in their mind. But the others are just raw power, just sprints, because 1 second at the top is 3 seconds at the bottom in the bobsleigh.
Wow, fascinating. Thank you, Vassos. A very, very nanosecond of a word on ads during the Six Nations.
So this is happening as of this Six Nations on ITV. Not obviously at half time. This is during the match, during play. Yeah, and instinctively you think, oh no, here we go. But you know, I was reading Owen Slott's piece in the Times just now on the app, and he said, you know, the broader picture here is rugby as a sport fighting to keep its relevance. If the odd ad before they reset a scrum, and it's going to be an L shaped on 2/3 of the screen. Crucially, the audio will come from the advert, not the commentary. So you'll be able to see the hopefully not too much action going on as they're resetting a scrum or preparing to take a line out. But there will be one in each half, an advert. And, you know, this has happened in US sport for decades, actually. So, honestly, we've done well to hold out as long as we have.
OK, purists, brace yourselves. It's coming. Vassos, thank you very much. Vassos is with us Monday to Thursday here on Times Radio. If you want more on that story, the rugby one, you can go to thetimes.com, head to the sports section.